Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to make this video for you guys today because as you already saw in the title, this is going to be baby girl names that I love but I will most likely not be using. And I did a video similar to this a couple months ago for baby boy names, so I'll go ahead and link that in the description box below if you guys want to go ahead and check that out. But for today, I am going to be telling you guys 10 baby girl names that I really love, but I most likely will not be using, at least not for a first name. And I'm also really excited about this video because it is a collaboration with one of my dearest friends, Paola, and Paola has been my friend for probably like 8 or 9 years. I don't know, it's been a really long time. Like she does YouTube now, obviously, but we met way back in high school. We did color guard together in high school, and she is just the sweetest, silliest, just most positive girl that I know personally, and you guys will absolutely love her. If you guys love my content, you will love hers as well. So she's also going to be doing 10 baby girl names that she loves but won't be using on her channel. So make sure that you go and check her out after you watch my video. And if you guys are from Paola's channel, welcome. I hope you guys stick around and enjoy watching my content. And if you do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And this video is also super exciting for me because if you guys are just now coming to my channel for the first time, I am pregnant with baby number 2, and I am currently 10.5 weeks, so it's gonna be a little while until we find out the gender, but I'm just so excited to be pregnant again and even be considering baby names, which is such a fun part of being pregnant. It can be a little stressful once you start getting towards the end and you haven't decided on a name, but that's what these kinds of things are for, to help give you guys ideas. So anyways, I hope that this video gives you guys some ideas, and let's just go ahead and jump right into the baby names. Okay, so this first name, this was my #1 pick for a baby girl name. When I was pregnant with Anastasia, this was my #1 name for a girl. Like, I was so set on this name and it was my absolute favorite, and I just fell in love with this name. And if you guys are Game of Thrones fans, which this is the disclaimer, there's a couple names in here that are kind of nerdy, and if you know me personally, like, I have always been kind of a nerd, which I'm proud of it. I really like watching things like Game of Thrones. I love reading books. Like, I fell in love with Twilight in high school. I love Harry Potter. I love video games. All of that kind of stuff is just like my favorite thing. Most girls my age or younger were like going out to clubs and bars and stuff like that, and I've done that a couple of times, but it's just not really my thing. I would much rather like binge watch like Harry Potter or have a LAN party and just eat junk food all day. Like, that is my scene more than anything. So I just want to give that disclaimer, like, I am a little bit of a nerd, and some of these names are from like books and movies and TV and all that kind of stuff that I fell in love with. So again, this first name is Aria. And again, if you're Game of Thrones fans, you know exactly why I love this name. And the way I would spell Aria is not like how people spell it now. It would be A-R-Y-A. And the way most people spell it now is A-R-I-A. And the reason that I love this name is because Aria is like my Patronus, which if you're a Harry Potter fan, you know what I mean, but she's like my soul sister. Like, I relate to Aria so much in Game of Thrones. She's so like tough and badass, and she does whatever she wants. She's just such a cool character. Like, she's just stubborn and she goes against the grain of things, and she's just so cool. And I love that because I relate to those feelings in a lot of ways. Like, I'm kind of stubborn. I do things like my own way, and I can be really like hard-headed about things, and I really loved her character. So I fell in love with that name. I just thought it was very pretty as well. Now, the only reason that I won't probably be using this name unless we have like a daughter like 5 or 6 years from now is because it's extremely popular nowadays. Like, I know 3 people off the top of my head personally that have daughters named Aria. And there's nothing wrong with that at all, but I've always liked having names for our children that are not very common, hence Anastasia. I don't know anyone personally named Anastasia, and whenever I tell people what her name is, they're always kind of like taken aback a little bit because they're like, why would you give your child such a long and complicated name? And I never thought of it like that. I just thought it was just a very elegant and timeless name, so that's why we picked it. But anyways, the first name that I love is Aria. This next name is from a show that I used to watch when I was like 18, 19 years old, and I was like obsessed with it at the time. I still really love it. I actually never finished the season, but that show is Vampire Diaries, and I really love that because I like vampire things. My favorite name from that show for a girl, well, one of my favorite names I should say, was Elena, and that was actually our second choice for Anastasia. Before we actually knew what we were gonna name Anastasia, that was like the runner-up for her name. And I really, really love this name. And again, it was one of our top picks, but the more I thought about it, I was just like, I don't know, like once we found Anastasia as a name, I just fell in love with that much more. And again, I'm not totally writing off that name, but I most likely won't use it as a first name, but maybe a middle name. The third girl name that I have on my list is Penelope. And I think Penelope is just adorable. I think it is such a cute name. It's like, when I think of Penelope, I just think of a cute little girl with like chubby cheeks and like curly blonde hair and pigtails and just cute as a button. And again, I really love this name, and this was again something that we considered when we were pregnant with Anastasia, but again, this was a name that started getting really popular over the past year or so, and like I said before, I just kind of wanted our children to have names that weren't like, there wasn't gonna be like 4 or 5 of that same name when they go to school or things like that. I just wanted something a little more unique to them personally, but I still think it's such a cute name. The next name that I love is Ellie. And I actually got turned on to the idea of this name from watching Ellie and Jared on YouTube, which if you guys are really into YouTube, you probably know exactly who I'm talking about. They have like millions of subscribers, and Ellie is just such a cute person in general, but I just love that name. I think it's so kind of like quirky and like unique and just different. I don't know a lot of people named Ellie. And again, I love this name, but I just don't think my style personally, I would actually choose it for a first name for a daughter. The next name is Ava, and I love this name. I think, well, first of all, one of the reasons that I love it is like, it's almost foolproof when it comes to pronouncing and spelling. Like, it's 3 letters literally, and 2 of those letters are the same. So it's super easy to spell and pronounce, which is awesome for when your kids are going to school and that kind of thing. But again, the only reason that I probably won't pick it for a first name anymore is that, again, it is super popular right now, which for a good reason because it's cute, but I just personally wouldn't pick it for that reason. Another reason that I also wouldn't pick this name is now that we have Anastasia, I feel like Ava is almost too close to her name. I don't want people to get confused with Anastasia and Ava, especially if people start calling Anastasia Anna when she goes to school or when she gets older or whatever. We don't call her that, but I just don't want those two to get like mixed up or be too close to sounding the same. Okay, so this next name was an idea that I got again from Game of Thrones, and I just thought it was so like different. I've heard different variations of this name, but I fell in love with the way they pronounced it in Game of Thrones, and that is Liana. And this is referring to Lyanna Stark. And I just really liked it because it was different. This was the first time that I've heard that name pronounced that way. I've heard the name Liana before, and it's usually spelled L-I-A-N-N-A, but I believe, I could be wrong about this because I don't know the exact spelling, but the way I would spell it would be L-Y-A-N-A. And I just think it has such like a pretty and romantic sound to it. And the only reason that I wouldn't pick this name is because Johnny does not particularly like it, which kind of sucks because I really love it and I think it would be something cool and different. But since Johnny is not on board with it, it's probably not going to be the name of any of our daughters. Okay, so I am so, not mad, but I just like, I wish, you know, hindsight is 20/20, and at the time I wish I could have like argued against this name when this happened. But my mom has a cat named Mia, and I love the name Mia. I think it is so cute, and it's something that I would have considered for a baby girl name because I just think it is so pretty and just adorable. And again, it's a very easy name to spell and pronounce, and I just really like it. It also has that like nice Italian sound to it, which we're an Italian family, so it would fit perfect. My mom has a cat named Mia, and I'll never be able to get that out of my head. So I personally wouldn't name my daughter Mia just because there is a cat in our family named Mia. The next name that I really like is Olivia. I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but I am really drawn to like romantic and kind of timeless names that just sound like they should be in like a romance novel. I know, like I am such like a hopeless romantic at heart. Like it's just, I love everything about it. I cry at romantic movies. I cry reading romance novels. That's like my guilty pleasure. I just love it so much. And I think romance is a dying thing nowadays. People aren't really into romance as much. So that's just something that I really like. So I like being able to take traits of romanticism and implementing them into life any way that I can. And I just think it's a pretty name. Olivia just has such a nice, like, I can imagine, there are some names that just sound cute when the child is a child, and then you think about when they're gonna be older and it's just like, it doesn't really fit. Like if you were to name a baby like Bob or something like that, like I can imagine a grown-up Bob, but I can't imagine like a baby Bob. I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys like understand what I'm trying to say, but I feel like Olivia is a perfect name that can go with a girl throughout her whole entire life, from being an infant all the way into adulthood. And the only reason I wouldn't pick it is because it's really popular. That's one of the main reasons I don't pick a lot of names. I just don't want our children to get like mixed up with someone else that has their name, but I do think it is beautiful. Again, my nerdiness is going to come out, and the next name that I love for a girl is Zelda. And if you're a gamer, you know The Legend of Zelda is a really popular, really old video game. And I just think that name is so cool. It's like, it sounds like a goddess and it sounds powerful, and it's just very, very different. And I never even considered naming a girl Zelda until I met someone that I used to work with years ago, and she had a daughter named Zelda, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's gorgeous for a girl name. And I love it, but the only reason I probably wouldn't choose it for myself is because it's just a little bit, I think it's a little bit too out there for Johnny and I's taste. Like it's a big contrast from like Anastasia, and we kind of just want all of our kids' names to flow together, and I feel like Zelda would be kind of like different, not in a bad way, but I don't know. I hope that makes sense. I really love it, but I just don't think for my personal taste and the names that we're attracted to, I don't think I would choose it for my own daughter. The last name that I love is Delilah, and oh my gosh, again, this is such like a pretty romantic name, and it just reminds me of the song Hey There Delilah by the Plain White T's, which is a super old song. If you're younger, you don't know which song I'm talking about, but it's probably like 10 years old or something like that. And Delilah is just such a pretty name. And another reason I like Hey There Delilah is because a long time ago, I tried to learn how to play guitar. Like I was awesome at Guitar Hero, and I thought that my skills in Guitar Hero would transfer over into playing actual guitar, which is not even close to being the same thing. If you think you're good at Guitar Hero, you probably won't be great at guitar if you've never picked one up in your life and don't know how to read music. Not saying that you couldn't learn, but I personally did not do well with learning how to play guitar. I just couldn't stick with it. But I did learn how to play a couple of notes, keys, a couple of seconds of Hey There Delilah. Like I knew how to play the first couple, like the first 10 seconds of the song I could do on my acoustic guitar, and it's just like, it was just such a cool memory for me to have. Like I actually learned how to play an instrument for like 5 seconds. I just love that song because it's just so romantic, and it's such a nice song to listen to. And the name Delilah is something that I just think of like a field of flowers, and just like a nice breeze blowing through, and like, I don't know, just like a nice spring breeze. You guys probably think I'm so weird the way I describe names, but that's really what I think of. Like I think of, when I consider names for my children, I like to think of like everything that is related to that name, like as many like people and sights and sounds and feelings around that name. And I probably think a little too much into it, but that's just personally how I pick names. But anyways, I do love the name Delilah. Again, it is a really popular name. I know a couple of people that have named their daughters Delilah, which is amazing because it's such a cute name, but that's why I wouldn't pick it personally. So those are 10 baby girl names that I just really adore, but probably won't end up using for myself personally, but think they could be great ideas for other people looking for inspiration for baby girl name ideas. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you've made it all the way to the end, please make sure you go check out Payola's video as well. I can't wait to hear the baby girl names that she comes up with, because I don't know what she's actually gonna come up with. So I'm excited to see if we might have some of the same names or what her name ideas may be, because if we end up having a girl, I might use some of her ideas. So make sure you go check her video out, and if you are from Payola's channel, thank you so much for watching my video, and if you enjoyed it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I make a lot of similar content as Payola, so thank you guys so much for watching. And also, if you have some baby girl name ideas or just baby boy names too, leave those down in the comments below, because like I said, we are pregnant, so we need to start considering baby names soon here within the next couple of months. So I'd love to hear your guys' ideas for that as well down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
We were young and drunk in love. A few years later I have started thinking, if it's just love